Hello there, and good evening, and welcome to Rob's and Bottles on this Tuesday evening. What is it? Tuesday? It is Tuesday, yeah, Tuesday, 26th of January. So, welcome. Thanks for popping along. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whenever, and those sort of things you are. So last stream, what done was to actually finish the Tamiya BF 109 1 to 48 scale. So that was good. Yeah, so I got that all finished up. And what I'm going to be doing today is to finish this. Basically, what it was is I'd done it, so I got it all finished and all weathered, pretty much ready to go. However, since I actually finished that, I'd forgotten that I'd actually ordered some oil paints, and I thought actually this would be a good evening to try to do a little bit more on it, just with the oil paints. And hello there, oh, evening there. Hello, Oogly. How are you? I got it right that time for a change. Hello. Yeah, I'm just hope you're keeping well. What I thought I would do today is before going on to something new. I know I said I was going to be finished. I'd actually technically finished this one, but got some oil paints. So started doing a little bit of weathering on it. Just basically have a bit of a play this afternoon when they turned up yesterday, and just thought I'd have a bit of a play with them. And then I thought, well, hang on a minute. Whilst I'm experimenting, I might as well actually just do it on the stream to actually try and show what I'm doing, and have a bit of a play. If it all goes wrong, it will go wrong. I actually got quite a nice smoke effect on the side of the fuselage with this earlier today, which I was actually really quite pleased with. And I'd had a bit smoke effect, and then I'd had damped the brush with some white spirits just to help smudge it in, and literally just wiped it all off within seconds. So I thought, instead of building up again, I'd do it again this evening. But I did have a bit of smoke just coming out of the exhaust, not loads, but just starting to build it up, and just starting to just sort of thought, yeah, actually just do that. And on the bottom, what I did actually following the other day is I just toned back with a bit of white spirits on a brush, just toned back some of the wash that I put on, just because I kind of thought it was a little bit, keep it in the panel lines, but just take it off the panels. And then I just started playing around a little bit more, just with adding the colours in. So on the bottom there, there's sort of like the browns from that wash that I'd been using anyway. It was a panel line wash, but I slapped it around a little bit more just to get a few weathered spots on there. But maybe overdid that, so took that off a little, and then just been using a whole load of colours. And the ones that I got were these off of Amazon for $9.99 on Amazon Prime, so free delivery, turned up the next day. They're only small, 24 in total in here. They're a lot smaller than the one that I've got before, which is actually the burnt umber, which is kind of like the classic one that most people have if you're only going to have one. That come from like Hobbycraft and probably cost about £5. Loads of little things, but for how much of these you actually use, it does seem a bit silly having a big thing of this anyway, when literally you just want a little dot of this. Because I really have found from playing with it this afternoon, when it comes to doing oils, it really was less is more. So I got my pack of oils. I was just kind of putting random colours on here, and so I was on the bottom. I mean, you can kind of see there I was playing around with a bit of blue colour and stuff. Got a bit of yellow, black and whites for build up smoke, that sort of thing. But I really was just kind of doing add a little bit of this, on the bottom there. There's a few blues and yellows and things going on, which you won't really see because I was trying to blend it in with the grey on the bottom. But that does seem to have worked. And typically what I've done before when using oils, which is the typical way, is you take a little bit on the brush and you put it in whereabouts you want it, just put a little dot, and then with a little bit of white spirits on the brush, just sort of like agitate it and move it around a little, just to sort of do this. What I was finding actually was working quite well was to actually pretty much do dry brushing. So get a little bit on the brush, wipe it off, and then just sort of be dusting it on. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Basically what happened with the smoke is I'd got white down on there, then I put a white sort of base on there, then some black just to start building some colour. Then I thought add a little bit of a bluiness to it, because you kind of get a little bit of a bluey texture to the smoke. Put too much on, I didn't dry brush that, there was too much on the brush, so I've done a big smear of blue. Then went to try to take that off with a little bit of the white spirit on the brush, and that was when that just smeared off everything that I'd been doing. So I don't know if this is the correct method. Well, I know it's not sort of like the way that some people do it, but the kind of way I found worked for me, which was to put a little bit on the brush. And now I am talking a little bit. This is the brush that I was using. So you can see there's a bit there. Pretty much wipe it off. And then, just like dry brushing, I don't know how well this is really going to be showing on the camera, just sort of be rubbing it on where that would go. So I'm just putting the white layer on first of all. So that's going to be coming out the exhaust. And already, I've probably put that on a bit thick already. You can probably see that's definitely started to pale it down a little bit. So evening, how are we doing? Okay, Plastic, how are you? Hope you keep well. I thought what I'll do is, I know I said the other day that I'd finished this one. Because I've now got, technically I have finished it, but because I've got my nice, got my tray of oils, cheap and cheerful oil paints for less than a tenner, including delivery. I thought I would have just a little revisit on this one. I mean, I say revisit, I haven't actually technically completely finished it, but just do a little bit of oil work on here, just to start adding in areas of smoke and that sort of thing on there, but never really apart from the odd blob of burnt umber that you move around, I've never actually experimented with other colours. I'd always just blob of brown sort of thing. So what I'm looking to do first of all is just work on whereabouts that smoke's going to be going, but just whiten it down a bit first of all. Just coming down the fuselage, front of the wings, and actually just under the exhaust ports. So that's almost just added that, given it a layer. Hopefully you might see that's now just that part going above the wing is now possibly a little bit more greyed out than the other. You will notice a huge difference to the final result. Yeah, I was having a play with it this afternoon, and it was literally just a sort of it was meant to be just a 30-second, basically, just to get the move them off the kitchen table, because I'd had them when they turned up. I thought I'll put those on my desk and I can have a play with them later. And then before I knew it, I'd actually been having a play with them. So and yeah, just using different sort of complete random colours that you'd never normally use. So anyway, Skinniest Fat Man's in the house. Hello, mate. How's you? You're yeah, I've been watching your Tonk one. I must admit again, I was lurking a bit earlier on this afternoon when you were on, but yeah, you do it. That's going pretty well, that, isn't it? Definitely a bit of a beast. I've actually, I mean, I'm a bit of a fan myself of the Tornado. I've done a 70-second one last year, the Revel kit, and actually, although it comes as the GR1 in the standard sort of RAF, green and brown camo, I actually done it as a I didn't stream it. Actually, it's on YouTube. Actually, didn't stream it, but I did actually do it as a the desert one, because to be honest, I was a kid when that was all kicking off. That was that is something in my memory, so to speak, and I always remember the footage of those tornadoes flying literally just meters, and it literally was, it's like 20 foot over the desert, wasn't it? And so yeah, I wanted to want to do that, but I'd love to do the larger one, but I just haven't got the room for it. And I mean, just looking at the drop tanks and stuff on there is just huge. But yeah, so I am following your build of that one with slight jealousy, to be honest. But the good thing with those tornadoes is they got absolutely filthy. So if you want to do a bit of weathering on that one, you can really go crazy with the weathering. That's what I really liked about it. Yeah, as a kid myself, when the Golf 4 kicked off around 9 or 10, I think I was I was a little, yeah, I was a couple of years older than that actually. I was just trying to think what year I was in at school. But yeah, it was sort of like my, uh, I think everyone's got their sort of the one that they remember watching on the news. So, just really, basically, I'm dry brushing oils, and I don't know whether this is, it's not the technique that I tend to normally do, which is to put the little, which tends to be the popular one, which is put little dots and then manipulate the dots, just using, a few little dots of different colours, and then using the brush just sort of like rub them in. So let's go for a little bit of the bluiness on there. So what I've really been doing is I've turned that a base white layer just to start bleaching out the colour underneath. Then I've put a little bit of black, just sort of been trying to rub that on, literally just, hardly any. I'm just going to pop a little bit of blue. This is where it went wrong a bit earlier, and this is when I then stopped and thought, no, let's try it again tonight. And obviously just with wiping it over with a damp, a little bit of, and I mean a little bit of white spirit on the brush, just took it all off again. So when people say just use a damp, a brush just with a little bit of white spirit, they really do mean a little bit. So what I'm hoping to do now is just add a little bit of, just because the smoke stain is going to have that a bluishy grey tinge to it. That's what I'm kind of looking for now, using that white one. But on the bottom, you can't see it, but I'll be blues, and literally blues and yellows, and a whole range of colours. Let's just pop that one over it. And again, as those who probably watch my streams know, especially when I do like to try to add tonal variety to stuff. Just whether that's, with a little bit of pre-shading and post-shading and stuff. So why I've not been doing this sort of thing sooner is, I don't know, well, probably because I just never got round to it, to be honest. So I don't know whether I might even go and revisit start having a look over my shelf and seeing what kits I've got up there that I've probably done a few years ago and I could probably get back to, and maybe just try to lift up a little bit more just now of with the oils. So what's that skinniest? The footage that I always remember is the bombing of the bridge, bombing of a bridge as the pickup was diving. That was a pickup like driving like hell to get. I don't remember that one. Check out. Just what was it? I think it's on YouTube. Something like low flying. The music they've got is Faithless in the background. I think on a YouTube thing, and it's got bits of Jaguars and stuff in there as well. But I'm sure that was the video. Basically, it's filmed with the pilots. Basically got camcorders and stuff and just filmed themselves. I've read actually the book by John Nichols and John Peters, the two guys that got shot down as well, and were held prisoner of war. And apparently, what happened is in Saudi or something where they all were, they just were bored, and their camcorders were dirt cheap. But there's some really good. I mean, the quality is terrible. But it is pretty amazing. There's this part where you've literally got the tornado, actually, this could be my makeshift tornado, flying along, and you've got the shadow underneath, and the shadow's rippling as it's going over dunes. And that really gives you the sense of perspective, especially when there's a moment where, and this is when they're practicing their low-level flying, because they have to do quite a lot of practicing for that, because they're used to doing low, but not that low. But suddenly the dune comes, and you can just see the shadow come up, and the shadow almost touches the bottom of the tornado and then goes right down, and it's just sort of like you seriously think it's going to just take it out. But I know that the Americans were proper impressed with the the low flying capabilities of the RAF. Right, so what I've now done on there is, at the moment, I've not actually, I mean, it's not hugely visible, but in comparison to what it's like without it, I'm really now just going to start layering this up slowly there's now a bit of a bluish, light bluish hue sort of thing. So I've just got, you know, different sort of layers sort of going on there. And I think the idea now is I'm just going to be sort of just building that back up again. So let's take a bit more of that black and just sort of darken it. And I'm deliberately sort of using brush strokes going in the direction of airflow. But what's nice is I'm trying to get it over some of the like the decals on the side. There's that green heart. So I'm just trying to you know, make that not look like that's a decal that's freshly been stuck on the side. That's now getting the smoke over it. Have we got any other? Yeah, we can just sort of pick out areas and just add just areas of interest really on the bottom, just around bits. But I have taken off quite a lot of the wash that actually went on the other day. Sometimes it does knock back, and so that sometimes the wash, you sort of put it on there and the next day you kind of look at it and go, no, I need to put more on. But no, I was looking at that today and it hadn't really settled back, so it needed a little bit more. But hopefully you can probably see it a little bit more on that yellow sort of part as it comes up round the side, just where the exhausts are. It's just getting a bit more dirty and sort of grimy. I'd say I'm not trying to mess it up completely, but just to yeah, give it a bit of tonal variety sort of thing, and just putting in a few different colours. Might try a slightly dark, actually no, I'll say darker, and I'm going straight for the yellow. I just found the vid, it's a tornado and a, right, okay, cool. Yeah, it's quite near the yeah, it's only a short video, but it's, yeah, got that Faithless. I think it's Faithless in there. So a few years since I watched it, but that also inspired me to do my build. Plus also, I used to get years ago a magazine called Takeoff, and the very first one had stuff about the tornado in there, an interview with pilots and stuff that are in the Gulf. I think that sort of inspired a bit as well. Is that a Cowstar I see before me? Copper, check. Modelled work on, check. Rob's models on stream, check. Perfect, good. That's good way to do it. You've got your copper on the go. I am thinking I'm definitely going to have to do that a stream where I actually not make a model but make a cuppa, because that will be, and I'll try and do it in my my model making style. of slightly, you know, instructional, but giving tips of how you might want to improve your cup of tea. So they're just adding a little bit of yellow, or say yellow, it's Naples yellow, which is a light brown, just to this smoke effect. As I say, I'm making this up as I go along. I don't know whether this is an officially recognised technique of the modelling community, but just sort of giving it a different layer. Yeah, pretty much dry brushing different layers and colours in. Seems to be working actually. As I said, I did have this looking really nice this afternoon, and then I literally had a little bit of a white spirit on my brush and just gently wiped over just to try to take it down a little bit, because I put a bit too much on there, and it literally just wipes it all down and had this lovely yeah, cleaned it absolutely to a gloss finish. So yeah, so I know I said I'd finish this one, but you know, the day after I said I'd finished it, a set of oil paints turned up there, and what am I going to do? Get a new model just to and also my new model hasn't arrived yet. The one that I was going to be doing for the next one for the buddy build. I've still got the little, where is it? I've lost it. Oh, there it is. Of course, still got the quickie to do. I think what's weird is by putting that yellow on, I seem to have taken off what I've already put on. Let's go back with a little bit more of that black. I think it just needs darkening down a little. We'll get there. We'll get there. May I post link? What? Yeah, cool. It probably I must get around to fixing it because I know I say this every time. Ping us over if you ping over as a what's it called? Yeah, I do. Yes, that's why I wanted to pop it over in a whisper. Actually, and I'll do it. If you can try to do it, but I haven't re-looked into the settings, and I've got everything all turned. I know I say this every time. I've got it all turned off for that sort of stuff. On the Autobot on moderation. Let's just check it. Auto mod is off. Terms for permitted things. Where's the chat options? Right. Block hype. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Your channel. Right. Okay. Actually, hang on. Let me hit save on that. Oh, yeah, hang on, you've just pinged it over anyway. Right, okay. Hang on, let's open that. Oh, actually, I'm just opening the video instead. Right. Yeah, that's the one. Okay, let's stop that before I start getting all copyright things and stuff. Right. Copy that. Yeah. What I'll do is dump that in me in the chat. And then everyone can watch that and come back in 2 minutes. It's worth it. Yeah. Why do everything with moderation? Oh, that's a good point. You're going into anyway, right. Oh, you're going into lurk mode. Okay, that's fine. Whisper sweet nothing. Yeah. Sweet nothingness and yes. That's the other thing. You want everything in moderation, but no, that video seriously inspired me to do the Tonka and to to do it in the deserts thing. And similarly, also, I do want to do a Jag and a Buccaneer to go with it now as well. Right, that's going on a bit too. Weird thing is, I don't know whether maybe because I've still got a bit of I seem to be getting brush strokes in the oils. Maybe I need to change brush for a little bit. I'm getting a bit too much build up on that brush. Just woke up a bit ago. Need to make coffee. No, you go and get yourself a cup. I mean, a tea would be more preferable, but we won't go into that one at the moment. Right. So now that we've got a bit more, again, it's really subtle, and I think by me just trying to tidy it up a little bit, I sort of knocked it back a bit more. Actually, it might show a little bit better on that one. It's more sort of like when you look over the mottling. The mottling's less defined. Those sort of parts, it's a bit more It's a bit more cloudy. And a bit more grayer than further right where my thumb is actually. So going along that sort of part over the wing of the fuselage, it's just sort of a bit more, I'd say, a bit more it's just the smoke and stuff blowing over it. That's been the plan. So not looking to mess it up and make it look like it's really dirty, because that's what I did with the old Tornado. That me in that video. You and what were you a pilot in the RAF before you got deported? No, that is a cracking video because it's real. I mean, the quality's bad, but just the atmosphere and everything about it. Okay. I think what I'll do is put a bit more layers. It feels like I've already cut. I need to wait for the oils on there to dry a little bit more. Actually, they're kind of a bit greasy at the moment. Near as I can tell, prove me wrong. Hang on. At 50, do you think you're actually in that video? At 55 seconds coming through. Right. Hang on. Why would you? What were you? Were you out there at the time? That's a Snoopy's Airways one as well. That might even be the one that I'd done the model of, actually. Sorry, just getting mildly distracted there with that video again. No, I'm kidding. No way to tell that base that was shot at. No. Oh God, I can't. Blink and we miss you. There's. I can't think of where they flew out of now. Actually, I think they definitely the RAF bases were based. Oh, I mean, I've got it somewhere in my magazine that I use for my reference and books and stuff. But let's not, get too carried away with that. So, I also want to just put a little in the wheel wells, actually. So, literally doing my favourite dry brushing technique, but doing it with oils. And I don't know if that's an officially recognised thing, but as I said before, it's working for me at the moment, so I'm going to run with it. I can make the Snoopy Airways build as well. Okay, yes, I was in the Gulf War though. Right, there was okay, I'm trying to think of. It's going to. Oh no, I can't think. So I'm assuming you're talking the number one. So time period matches up. Right. Yeah, Gulf War One, the oil wars. Well, I do quite like this. I mean, as I say, probably doing it completely wrong, but I do like these this effect with using oils. Be right back. Hot water and milk needs to be teabag. Brilliant. You crack on. Hang on. That's it. There we go. You grab yourself a cuppa. And good to see that no sugar is going to be meeting that either. So here I'm just sort of putting. It's got a little bit of what's this colour? This is a light brown. It's a burnt sienna, not a burnt umber, but a burnt sienna. So it's a slightly lighter brown. I'm just putting dobs of it around sort of hatches and ports and little random areas really, and then just flicking it back, going in the direction of airflow just to blend. And just sort of, mixing it around until it pretty much just fades and blends in. So that's basically what I'm just doing. But again, don't want to dirty this up too much because I do want to keep a sort of quite, well, not clean, but cleanish. What was I doing? I know you should use proper artists' white spirits and stuff, but I've got some stuff that I've had for donkey's years that come from B&Q. So it's all actually gone, it's white spirit, but it's gone a bit yellow. So a little bit of that in a mince pie foil. Okay. And just use that to clean the brush. So actually, you could use that as a wash. What I've just done in there, that would probably, I could put that over the tank that I've got, that Tiger One that I've got sat here. I could actually do that, couldn't I? Literally that I could put on as a wash, could I not? Yeah, that's what Bart Bandy did, wasn't it? He just wiped it on. Yeah. That is the ultimate recycling. There we go. Waste not, want not. Hey, Governor, you're using that white spirit, man. Right. That is called make it up as you go along modelling. We'll see how that makes that. What I've probably just done is cleaned off all the weathering that I've probably put on that before. Actually, that is also a possibility. But if I have, then it just means that I can go and do it again. So that's now the brush cleaned and dried of white spirits. But I did find, even though I've kind of dried it, and it doesn't feel like there's any on there, some of those dirty, if we sort of like, I've put far too much around there, I'm just finding, I can just, it's like the bristles have an invisible coating of it on there. And just rubbing it around is just really wiping it all off again. I say wiping it all off, I'm kind of leaving it built up in some areas, clean in others, and but just grubbing up around the wheel wells where the landing gear is, that sort of thing, because that's where dirt and stuff's going to be getting kicked up. It's very odd, but the actual pre-shading that I did on this, before I actually done any of the weathering, was really obvious. But since I put that filter over, the Flory Models wash, and then done the panel line wash, I cannot see any of the pre-shading. However, it's obviously there because it was it's not like the weathering wash would have been enough to actually remove, to put it on there. So it's just going to be that the tones of it are going to be coming through. So I, again, don't know how well that's sort of showing, but you're getting just areas. There's like, maybe a few bits there that's a bit darker than the parts next to it. The bits around just where I put that big blob of it around that wheel well, just where the mud's going to be coming off the tyres as the landing gear comes up and that sort of thing. That's what I'm looking to do. Actually, let's put a bit of this over the tyres as we're talking about that. I think we need a bit more of the actually a bit more of this. Evening and morning straight away. So Killer and Ian, good to see you both. Evening and morning to both of you respectively, or morning, yes. And hang on, Oogly's just trying to find good, but I'm trying to find good but cheap. Yeah, okay, an oxymoron. Sprue cutters. Any recommendations? Actually, my ones are cheap, and but I made them. I improved them. Actually, that was my top tip the other week. I think it was. I remembered about it after I'd done the. Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what ones I use, which are the. I'll just leave that from it because if I keep doing that, then it's going to build up. My sprue cutters are the cheap and cheerful ones, which you've probably seen already, because well, I mean, loads of people have them. And snipers here as well. Check Walmart if in the States. Yeah, I have some random no-name gunpowder coppers that seem to go down quickly. Yeah, what I've got these, which are the cheap and cheerful. I see quite a few people actually using ones like this. But what I've done, and I do every now and again, is I've got quite an abrasive sanding stick. You could probably use sandpaper or something. And what I do, so that one's sort of quite a high grit. I don't know what grit these are, but because they're sort of like modelling ones. But what I do is close them every now and again, and this generally does improve them. I find close them, and then just whilst that's together, give it a quick file with a sanding stick or a bit of sandpaper or something would be fine, and that gives a nice sort of a smoother finish. And then with the blades themselves, because what you want is to basically have a smooth part there, but where these join you want that to be flat. And yeah, and I just find you every now and I do give them a bit of a sharpen every now and again, and that you can probably see they're getting a bit more shiny. Polish off a little bit and literally just grind. I say grind, it's hardly grind, but just run that over, and now that's a nice flat surface where the two meet. And that's the bit where when you're cutting something from the sprue. Okay, so I've got like that intake. That's for the version that I'm not doing. If you're kind of getting a bit close, it means that you're getting a nice. It's flat against the part. Also, as well, actually, I want to do it because this is a tip. Hang on. So my top tip is when you're cutting things from the sprue. Now this is obvious, or some people might think this, and some people do it intuitively. For other people, it's a complete game changer because they've never thought of it. What you do is when you're cutting stuff off sprues, don't think that you're cutting the part off the sprue. Think of it that you're cutting the sprue from the part, which sounds really random and a bit meta, but what it basically means is, so that part there, I've actually just cut one of the bits off, and now I just need to cut that final bit off. What I won't do is, instead of holding the sprue and the sprue cutters to cut the bit off, what you actually do is I kind of hold the part, and if anything, the sprue itself is more supported, not being held, so that when I do that, I'm kind of cutting the sprue from the part, not the part from the sprue. And that way, you're kind of getting, that's coming in a lot flatter and giving you a much more closer, flatter sprue gate to cut through. Whereas, so basically what I'm doing is I'm not cutting the part off. So if I was to remove, say that lump of sprue, this bit here is the part, instead of going like this to get rid of it and cutting it off like that, you're kind of getting a bit of a rougher part. If I do it with this bit, I hold that, so I'm actually supporting the part, and effectively I'm holding the part and just supporting the sprue. And when I cut through there, oh, that didn't work too well, but yeah, because I'm trying to cut through a massive chunk of thick sprue there, that gives a much better, cleaner thing. So that was my little top tip. I know you didn't ask for that, but hey, freebies here. You want to free tips. I'll use the Fuller brand, but also have the cheapies provided from Everyone kits. Yeah, I think I never got this, but I have seen them in sort of when, you know, the all you need kits type thing. Are you going to weather that cutter, Rob? Yeah, rub it down and put a bit of weathering over it. That's an idea. No, I won't. I won't weather the cutter. They get slightly weathered as they go. Check Walmart. I know Asda is in the UK is owned by Walmart, but I don't want to think they'd sell sprue cutters. But I'm sure it was like £5-6 on Amazon type jobs. Might try that. Are you gonna use the? I really like the fuller ones. They stand up well. I suppose Rob's tip has been added, has the added benefit of holding the part doesn't get lost to the carpet monster. Actually, as well. Yes, that's the other one. Loving the t-shirt. Oh, thank you very much. Have you not seen the range of t-shirts? Last time round, actually, you only followed me recently. Last time round, it was absolutely bloody freezing in here, so I did have my thing on there. I've got the Rob's mod, but this is in short sleeve. But underneath this, I then got the long sleeve, but with a smaller logo. It's just purely for it means I'm not then having to think. Genuinely, I don't have to think about what I've got to wear. I've got a couple of t-shirts that I can wear, and if I get paint and stuff all over them, I don't mind. I got them. Yeah. Oh my god, merchandise machine. Yes. I haven't got the hang on. I'll stay here lurking. Can't hear what you're saying. Oh. Can you not hear? Or do you mean you've just got it turned down? As he strips to advertise. Yes. I'll get the mugs out later. I know Sniper was asking. I have got done. I forgot, but I think it kind of was in my mind. If I do that now, because CSA Sniper reminded me by asking me about mugs the other day. But if I do that, that goes onto the merch stuff. But the stuff that I wear, the stuff that I endorse, my own line isn't from that. Oh, okay, he's streaming. Right. I thought he was streaming earlier. I thought he had. But I thought you'd done a bit of a short one in that case, but okay. He's multitasking. But yeah, so I just get my stuff off. I actually got my mugs and my t-shirts and stuff done really cheap on Vistaprint on Black Friday last year. They had a Black Friday sale on, so I got on that. Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to put a bit of this oil. I do a little bit of far too much. Just doing the 109 and just absolutely cock up the the 190 that I've done a year or two back. I've just put a massive splodge of this there, but I won't panic too much yet, because it should come off. I say should, it's not. Okay, this is a very dirty 190. Hang on, which one's this? Although, I've got to admit, I am liking that effect. Ooh! I mean, it's a bit... It needs to be toned back, which it is, just a constant... Okay, I've suddenly got a feeling that now I'm doing these oils, I'm going to be pulling out, emptying the shelf of all the kits that I've built over the last couple of years, and start oiling them. Okay, so it's quite a bit of a streak on there. Again, it's not showing up as much probably on that camera as what it is to the eye. Actually, I'm probably covering up with my finger. Okay, that's a bit better. I was covering up the bit where it didn't have it on. So I've gone a little bit, I mean, it is sort of quite over the 6. But what I'll do is now take a bit of the white and then basically they'll rinse and repeat, as they say. But now do exactly the same with some bit of white. That should start toning down just the pure black that I've put on. I don't want very much. That's making it a bit more. That's it. No, I am liking. I mean, cheap set, £9.99, free delivery, sort of from Amazon Prime. Pack of 24 different colours. I know they're not sort of like military colours, but you mix them up, with your blacks and your browns and stuff. I guess that's the thing. Your proper stuff, as in your modelling, are going to be pre-mixed to a usable shade. So you don't have to sort of mix. But I don't mind just sort of blending this in, actually. If anything, I've gone on a bit heavy with that. Cotton bud just to take some of the surplus off. So yeah, I thought I was going to be. That. I've got to say, my top tip in modelling, I won't do the thing again, but my top tip in modelling is just have a play and see what happens. Because actually, that has just added a bit of a little, how the French say, je ne sais quoi. So on that one, just darken the side of the down the side of the fuselage again, above the wings where the exhaust ports are there. So this little 1 to 72nd one, and you can sort of more tell the difference there by comparing that tone there to that tone there. I mean, it was the same colour, and now that's more darker on those front bits, and that's just putting a little bit of black and then a bit of white, and then just sort of then knocking it back a bit more. So should I do a little something on the bottom? So okay, let's pick out. This is actually the kit that Toshi is making at the moment, I think. I think it was in the Discord group. That's his one. I think it was Toshi that was doing this one, or at least started it yesterday or something as part of his build-off one. So just had a good effect with that yellow again. And so again, just putting some yellow, and I'll get a bit of cobalt blue. That looks interesting. So I'm just going to put some yellow and some blue on the bottom, because both of these should sort of work with that grey colour on the lower part, just to try to weather it up. So take a mental snapshot of what that looks like. We have got panel line details on there, which is actually quite nice. I should probably do, I mean, I could actually raise this up a little bit more just with the a panel line wash. I don't think this actually had I think this only had a flory wash on, actually. I don't think, which is the clay wash. So I've literally just put on blobs of blue and some other blobs of yellow, and now I just want to just start trying to smudge them in. I haven't really thought about this one. I could be getting a bit cocky. I could have got lucky with how that worked just now, and now I think I'm a oil weathering genius. And again, brushing, the strokes are going down as the direction of the airflow. Okay, so that blue has sort of complemented the grey, which is almost like a grey blue colour. So now there's no obvious blue, but you kind of have got a little bit of, around about there it's a little bit darker, around about there there's a few little patches sort of like there where it's just sort of a little bit of, just a little bit of shading, and I'm not looking at this going, oh look, that looks blue. It's just basically changed the tone of the grey. I didn't really do much with that yellow, so try a little bit more of this. So again, a little bit of the yellow on there. So just pop, I'm going to sort of put this a bit more towards the centre of some of these panels. Maybe a bit on the rear. Just around some of the hatches as well. And just gently rub that. Not actually, that doesn't need rubbing in as much. So you might be able to tell it's more dry brushing than painting. If you dry brush already, then you'd be halfway there. Okay, so again, I don't know quite how much that yellow is going to be shown, because again, you wouldn't actually see it as yellow, but there's just some sort of like patches. Again, it's now just breaking that up from being just a solid. I mean, okay, there was weathering on here. There was a wash had been put over it as well, but we are now getting a little bit more, again, a bit more variety. And let's put, okay, just put where there's some ports there for the where the Canon showers are going to come from. Just put blobs of that standing out a mile, isn't it? Okay. What's weird is some of these things that I'm doing I can barely see, and they show up really clearly on my monitor when I hold it up to the camera, and some of the other things that stand out really clearly to my eye are not showing up at all. Well, it probably is all to do with colour balance and stuff like that. Again, just flicking where that was. So now, actually, you could just make out kind of got the sort of a sooty discharge just coming out from those the ports, just where those the shell casings are going to come through. So again, not massive, not loads. It's not sort of like looking, you know, like it's really, really dirty. Just adding a little bit of variety to it. And this is actually coming. Oh, this is my new favourite pastime, actually. I think. Let's go for a bit of, try this one. This is raw sienna. This one I've not opened. These ones you need to just put the old the lid in, just reverse it. I know also if you what other people do, and which I did as well when I only had that the larger tube, is to sort of put it on the cardboard and let it leach out. But I mean, I'm just putting it on the kitchen roll for now. But I'm putting so small an amount on there that literally that's the amount I've got, and I'm not going to be using much of that. And I'm just using that to, I say load the brush up, just getting a thin coating of it on the brush. And I just want to put this around the wheel wells again, like I did for the 109, just to sort of show where mud would sort of be. So that's a sort of just a lighter colour. So I've got probably far too much on there at the moment. I've got a big blob of it on the wheel itself by accident. Again, rubbing it around just to kind of hopefully give it a sort of a browny, like it's just got a layer of dirt around it, around the with the landing gear. So just a little bit more brown towards the middle. Just a little. Just put a blob. I don't know if you can see. Just put a blob there, It's quite, and now hopefully get the brush as clean as it will be just by wiping it on the paper towel. Let's see how we do. Okay, that's just taking it off, knocked it back. But again, just added a little bit more because that's the lighter one that's not showing up quite so well. Cool. So I'm pleased with that. Okay, so only for 69 cents a day, you can help a modeler have supplies he needs to complete models. This unfortunate group needs our help now. Oh, gotta seep that linseed oil away. Right. I'm using so little. That's what I'm saying. I'm using so little. I don't think I've got much linseed oil in here. Rob is going to get carried away. Next thing, we'll have bumblebees painted on the side of his planes. That's. I don't think we'll be going quite that far. I've got to admit, I did actually like what Huell done. He was on the other day as a, I was trying to tell him that, I thought it was because what he had done, there was a logic to it. I liked that actually. There was his model had a story. I knew that was going to happen. I've just knocked off the what's it? The little steps to get in. Okay. I'm thinking that that's bringing it a bit more to life. Oh, thank you very much for the follow. Is that Texas Gold 3D? Thank you very much for the follow. Cheers for that. Hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. Just someone just going a bit crazy over some cheap oil kits, oil paints he got on Amazon today. Adding to it, but let me know who you are. I appreciate that. Howdy, howdy, howdy indeed. So if you want to, you don't have to, obviously, but let me know a little bit about yourself. Are you a modeler yourself? And if so, do you what you're building, and also if you stream as well? Because as you might be able to tell, there's a few other modelers on Twitch. You might already follow a load of them already. So got a few of them are obviously in the chat tonight. Ian's got to go. Bye, mate. Thanks very much for dropping by. I don't know if I've just caught you. Have a good day at work. It just does still seem crazy that probably the chances are, a bunch of these guys, they're still having their lunch and you already got up for work the next morning. Still trying to get my head around that one. So have a good one. But are you a scale modeler yourself? Because I do find it, people do find all, do find us modelers in different ways. Right, I'm going to have to find that little bit that I knocked off. I remember when I was building this, I kept knocking it off all the time. I've still not found the wheel that I knocked off the other day, but I'm not going to have any problems scratch building that one. And to be honest, I wasn't really pleased with how that was looking anyway. So just a little bit of tonal variation going on there. So hopefully that's going to be showing up. Got a bit more brown on that side than the other side, but hey, that's fine. Right, okay, let's get carried away before I do start putting bees and shit all over this stuff. Anyway, right, just getting started. Okay, I'm just getting started on a diorama. New to it. Oh, brilliant. In that case, you're here at the, the great thing about Twitch is we've got people on here who are at all levels of modelling. Some people who are sort of new to it or taking it up as a hobby, who are, or maybe just literally just don't stream but just doing it, and you've got other people who are really into who've been doing it for ages, and literally pro modelers who get paid to make models for people, sort of thing. So hang on, started on so finding coming along and watching people is the best way, because that's how actually I learned loads of my techniques, is watching people on stuff. So Wiz is in. Good day to Wiz. What's really weird is I think Ian's just left, if he still is around, so he's got up to go to work, and you're probably just on because you haven't got around to going to bed yet. That's just anyway. Oh, LEDs. So I was trying to break that down less, but LEDs have arrived and they're small. Those are the flashing ones because I got the links. I'm currently working. I need to work out what I'm doing properly with that. Did I miss snacks? No, don't worry. Snacks in about 22 minutes. No, you haven't missed snack time. Texas Gold's just followed, going, What the hell have I joined? True. So I'm assuming. Would I be correct in thinking that you're about to go to bed, Wiz, but you thought, I know what I'll do. I'm going to nip down to Mackie D's and then have a Mackie D's whilst before bed. When poor Ian, who's only an hour ahead of you, isn't he? As he's already up to start a day at work. He's got up, had breakfast, watched a bit of me streaming, and he's already in there. So cool. Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do is got to put a little bit more of that. Actually, I'll pop it on there. Pop the rotor back on. Got to work out how I'm going to display this. Actually, I'm still not too sure. I hadn't thought that far ahead. Whereas, like with the Mosquito, done the base for it and everything. So I was going to say just a little bit of weathering and stuff down the side. I might do a little bit more once. But I think she's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, I just thought of something I did want to do, which is a little bit random, but I have random thoughts at different times. So I just want to trim a little bit of that. Don't know if that's going to be trim able. Yeah, okay. So where it's probably impossible to see. I know we were having troubles trying to do this the other day. Where there's the line, the aerial, I have used quite fine line for it, but it doesn't look. It doesn't look that. Hang on, there it is. Trying to get the things. What it is I realised that of course that's quite thin, but normally you'd have the attachments on there. Let's get rid of the oils before I get too carried away with that, and literally just oil everything. But what you've kind of got on here is, I don't know how well that's going to show on there, but there's the little, basically where they're screwed on sort of thing. There's little twists. I'm sure there's a word for that. What would that be? They're little, I was going to say block and tackle, not block and tackle, but basically there's, basically where they're sort of like looped on. So I did want to try to replicate that. And what I was going to do was get some PVA glue. This is glue and glaze, which is stuff that I use for putting in canopies. I'm assuming this is going to work. Again, why? I do like to experiment with stuff. So I was thinking what I could do is put a blob of that on here. Okay, that's okay. Instead of a blob, what I've done is I've just got a gloopy bit there. I want a bit more of the cleaner stuff. So I don't know if this is something I just thought of I could do the other day. So where it sort of ties on. Blobs of the glue. There's not wanting to stick to this. Okay, that one a bit OTT. What I'm hoping to do is for this just to sort of look like it's where it's sort of been doubled back to tie on. And that hasn't there because I put a blob of it right down the side of the tail plane. It's whipped its way down. And then what I can do is when that's dry, just give that a little bit of, if necessary, a little bit of black paint or something on there. But just add a little thick area where it's been tied on. Ahoy! Ahoy, hoy, hoy! Thanks for Hang on. There's no. How's everyone going? Hang on. It's all. Did I miss the snacks? You didn't miss the snacks. All the snacks there. No, they're static. You need the flashing kit I sent. Okay. Oh yes. Yeah. There's okay. You just got static ones. Yeah. I was on eBay today, so hang on, let's take that out of my mouth whilst I'm talking. I was on eBay today, actually, Killer, just sort of having a bit of a look at things, but my mind wasn't on that because I was doing other stuff at the same time. And I thought, no, concentrate on what I'm there to do, otherwise I'll end up spending an hour and loads of money buying stuff that I don't need, and then not doing the things that I should have actually been doing today whilst I was working. I'm on my experience bike, exercise bike. You can't sleep. That reminds, I don't know if you've got Father Ted, a comedy from the 90s, Irish comedy from the 90s, but you've just reminded me of a joke there. If you're referencing that, then I know exactly what you mean. If you're not, then you've inadvertently referenced a joke from a that I remember from a comedy in the late 90s. Okay, hard dry tip on the airbrush, I do as well. However you spell it. It's a lifting eye. Hello, sailor. Ahoy. Okay, hello, modelers. English isn't my strong suit, though I speak it. English is my third language, right? Very small, far away. Yes, very. I'm a little bit of a Father Ted fan, to be honest. So I hear you're a racist now, Father, and all that sort of thing. I'm actually a member of a Father Ted group on Facebook, but hey, you know, isn't everyone nowadays? Anyone who doesn't watch and get Father Ted should probably go and watch that tornado video, then afterwards watch Father Ted videos. Or just watch. The thing is, I've watched some of those reaction on YouTube when it's like, you know, reactions of like Americans watching Father Ted, but because they literally only just watch one random episode and they don't get the characters that have been developed. The milk float bomb is my number one. That is, yeah. Funny enough, that episode was actually called Speed 2, which just shows how old it was, because at the time there wasn't a Speed 2 film. Again, that just makes me laugh as well. But is there anything that could be said for having another mass? Okay. 6 more primed. You're doing the you have got the conveyor belt method going. Then get them on, because that would be my sort of way with the amount of kits that you've got. That would be my way of doing things. Would be just to build them. You know, get rid of the backlog in a bit, and then just build really cool kits. You do have a quite a pile of them, haven't you? Okay, this is one of those details that people will never see. So let's how do I, no, I forgot what I'm doing. I'm on that one. Right. So using the glue and glaze, I've just put a couple of blobs. You can see the white blobs. Yeah, right, let's now try and get a bit of contrast using that. On that wire, which hopefully will make it sharp a little bit, there's some white blobs. So the idea is they will probably dry clear, and then once they're dried clear, I'll just sort of touch them in with a little bit of black paint or something. Again, I think I'm just being really pedantic. They look massive on there, actually. It must be a weird sort of focusy type thing, because they're not that big. It's weird, you can't see the wire, which is black, but the actual little blobs that are actually hardly visible, to me, are massive on the camera. My camera seems to work on reverse vision. Right, get that cleared up. I'm starting to get oils all over everywhere. So what I wasn't actually going to be doing that tonight, but as I say, got the oil paints. So I thought just have a little bit. I honestly can't remember how far I got up to with the quickie. So let's have a little look. I should really make room on the desk for when the kit comes out. That massive box of pieces. So technical, interesting, good on small to big stuff. Good, hang on, just do it. Hang on, wanted to no, hang on. Oh, I missed something. Right, 6 more primed. Hang on. I've used the Tamiya putty and it works well, but recently used super glue and talcum powder as a filler. Oh, okay. Oh, hang on. What putty do you like or use? Recommend sculpting, sanding ease. Okay, that's now making a little bit more sense. Okay, I missed that one amongst all the Father Ted references. So I'm glad I noticed that. Sorry, Texas, didn't mean to ignore you there. My two putties of choice, or fillers, depending on, are these. Squadron Green, although I've heard they're not making this anymore. And also Perfect Plastic Putty by Deluxe Materials, which I think is similar, but I'm not too sure is similar to the Vallejo plastic putty. This one is more lacquer based. This one is water based. What I like about this one is this one's more tougher. It is green. It's basically it's a harder one. What I do is I mix this with thinners, paint thinners, but I use the lacquer thinners, and I actually use the Mr. Colour leveling thinner. So this is sort of like, you know, this is proper chemical stuff. You know, this is clear the 10 years of grime from your engine type chemical. You know, but it makes this a lot more smoother. It makes it more of a paste, and then can brush it in. This one is water based, and I do a similar thing, but just use water. And what's nice with this one is pretty much you can put it on, and almost with a little cotton bud, just like lick a cotton bud or get it slightly damp, and rub it over, and you immediately remove the excess. The problem with these though is they can, if you've got big gaps to fill, once you then actually you know, they can sort of take a little bit longer to dry. That takes longer to dry out than this, but is more tougher, I find. If I've got a bigger filling job, I'll use that. If it's a little bit of a small seam in something, and then then sort of rub down, smooth your plastic off. But some people try to like sand it down so you don't see the filler anymore. But then you're just going back to plastic. It defeats the point of filler, which I don't know. I never understood that one, but that's what I use. What some people do as well is to use your Tamiya extra thin stuff. I don't know if you use that glue, which basically glues by melting plastic, and then the plastic welds to itself. But what some people do is they'll use bits of sprue, so old bits of sprue, cut it up and then put it in there, and it kind of dissolves and then turns into a goo. And then you can kind of brush that on. I've never done that before actually, but I have heard that you want to make sure that you do quite a good quality one, or plastic hard sheets, because if you've got some Airfix ones apparently don't dry, or they're too soft. That's what I mainly use for my fillers and putties and stuff. I don't tend to do the super glue one too much, someone said. Purely because if I'm sanding down and then I try to rescribe, I find that too hard to rescribe through. Again, personal preference. Could do 6 more primed. Okay, so then I have used the Tamiya putty and it works well, but I recently used super glue and talcum powder as a filler. Okay. Oh yeah, funny enough, I remember I was watching your stream at the time when you very first used that, and you're trying to get it to mix and everything. Again, I was learning from you doing that one actually. I was kind of learning from your mistakes there, Wiz. But if you've done, what was it? You were putting on the exhaust. You had to cut the exhaust to get it to fit of a truck, wasn't it? And then you couldn't get it to go. I'm more of a Fast Show Jam, Harry Enfield, Big Train guy. Oh, okay. So no one remembers Big Train, do they? That was the first thing with Simon Peggin, pretty much. His I don't know, can't remember what Jam is. Oogly, you got me with Jam. Big Train. Okay, anyway, I just want to know, I really want an experience bike now. I think we all want to experience bike. No, I've only got around 100. God, that's a lot of kits, mate. That's a lot of kits. Okay, interesting. Good on that. Makes more sense now. Good on small to big stuff. Yeah, because sometimes you're different. I use different gaps need different fillers for me. I'm too tired to spell. Right. Cool. Use cinnamon powder to create. Oh, what? Put cinnamon into what? Just use it as a powder, or actually put it into super glue or something to create rusty lumps. That's an idea, because it is rusty coloured, obviously. Isn't there a new polymer sculpting putty that's good? Not as far as I know. I did hear that this Squadron Green one is getting replaced, and some people are buying. The fans of this stuff are buying it up. Apparently, they're just changing the colour, but in the process, they're changing the formula, as I hear, but not officially admitting to it. Yeah, but I'm just off on imagination lane, wondering about how much better it would be on an experienced bike. That's also what's going through my head as well. All good. The world is just that less better because we don't have this. Although I will admit, watching Rob's models is an experience. Yes, everyone aboard the experience bike. Woo, woo. I mean, why would everyone get aboard an experience bike? It would need to be, that just doesn't work, does it? So how would you gain or lose experience? Cocaine. Next question. Is there a scale now? Hang on. There is a scale now. In that sense, I suppose my proficiency only goes up if I actually apply anything he says or not. Yeah, that's the thing. It's you're free to use what I say. What I might do is every now and again, my top tips, I might just say something which is absolute bollocks, and then just see how many people then message me the next day to go that they've just cocked up their model. I'm genuinely tempted to do that. And just say some things which just will not work at all, just to see who actually listens to what I say. I've used Sprue glue before. Yeah, I've just never done it. I don't want to waste my glue. I have Sprue. The good thing with Sprue glue is, of course, you're putting plastic on top of plastic. So if you are rescribing your panel lines in, then it's the same substance. So you should get a much more crisper line. Word of note. Hang on. Do you feel then a filler primer in the area too? A filler primer, which I tend to use, is either your AK interactive primer, which is a filler and primer, or what my one of choice is the Mr. Surfacer 1200, again mixed with that stuff, which is actually, I forgot, that is actually for really fine stuff. I actually use Mr. Surfacer 500 for a really small gap, or if I'm just trying to smooth something off, because this stuff is like that stuff which has been really mixed down with that stuff. And then, if that makes sense, that's almost like the same. These are all sort of like these Mr. Surfacer 500, 1200, and Mr. This would be like the equivalent of Mr. Surfacer 5, probably. I don't know, but so I do use those, but I don't really find they have a great filling property when it actually comes to priming. I've never really looked at it and thought, oh, that filled a little gap. They say microfiller, so perhaps what it's filling is so small. It's possibly just like, even if you just run sand stuff off, if I use that, you can still see, if I was to use a sanding stick to file down a join, unless I'm using like a really fine one and buffing it out afterwards, those sort of little micro scratches are still visible after using that micro primer stuff, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, ended working out well. Hopefully it did. Jam is really an acquired taste. It's made by Chris Morris. So, okay. Well, I'm a fan of Chris Morris. I'll probably watch some of it and then get flashbacks. So I'm a big fan of Brass Eye, and I only watched that a while back. Got it on DVD as well. And the data, and basically 4 lines. Never really got that one. I think maybe that's watch it a second time for the film. But no, I'm a fan of his stuff. Currently running away with the Merc competition poll. Oh, good. Because you do win some good stuff, and one of the people you said basically done a shit kit, and done your kit, but really badly. After a week, it should have been open. 19 votes out of 26 so far. So next car freak, so you'd better win that one. Actually, I was going to, if you want to put a link on, because I might have just adjusted my settings, see if that works. Use PVA to mix it with. Hang on, PVA to mix what with? Oh, we're going back to the cinnamon. Right, okay, with multiple conversations going on in my head at the moment. Rob's top tip, use normal Tamiya glue to stick down your decals. No, that is your top tip. Don't try and pin that one on me. You done that one before I'd even started streaming, mate. Writing these down, notes. So I got all this stuff, goes for this stuff. Just watch the VOD back, I'll tell you what, this one I'll whack on YouTube, and then you can watch it to your heart's content. What people aren't doing that already? Um, my man, Browside Worker Genius. Yes. The so I'm now thinking about cake. Oh, what was the? I mean, there were some ones. Yeah, I'm not going to link it. I'll let it run on its own. Fair enough. Okay. I remember Phil Collins telling people not to eat cake. And of course, managing to get someone to say that there was an elephant with his trunk stuck up its bum. Oh, hang on. Are we at that time of the evening already? We are. Hello, good evening. Hang on, let me just grab the merchandise. So I know it's from the other day. I forgot. We have got. Oh, thank you very much. Everyone say thank you to Forever Autumn. So we've got the applause from Cube Jam. Mary Antoinette said everyone should eat cake. Cake is made up drunk, and completely ironically, and this is yes, cake is made up. Sorry, it's been ages since I saw that, and by complete coincidence, I've actually got cake as my 8 o'clock treat. So we got the cup of tea and the old Rob's Mod merchandise mug. Buy my merch, or just or what's cheaper, if you want me, I'll just ping you over the JPEG of that, and you can get it from Vistaprint for about a quarter of the price as it does on there. Anyway, and also I do have, this is what you're really here to see. We have the shortbread biscuit. One finger, running short of them. Didn't get to the shop today, but also Forever Autumn has actually been baking. And she has actually baked me, or baked some cakes today. So I have actually got cake, which is what. And to decorate it, is that there was. I'm assuming that was a chocolate penny that was in the back of the cupboard and has been since before Christmas. One lonely chocolate penny has been pressed into the top of a cupcake. So thank you very much. That is my snackage today. And of course, cup of tea. Actually, I'm on. For those who are obviously the watchers among you will know that, of course, PG Tips are all supreme in the land of tea. However, I noticed that I've got a couple of some emergency Tetley tea bags, so I'm just trying to use some of those up. Rob never got fruitcake through it, although I bloody did. And actually, we've still got one slice of it left, which I'm saving for a special occasion. Who wants to link to Rob's tea? Oh, hang on. Okay, it's going to be late. Sorry, I can only apologise on this one. There we go. Sorry, I should have done that before. I'd forgotten about that. I know, I'm slipping. I was too busy thinking about fruitcake. I mean, I do Tetley's, but I prefer big buy the 240 pack of 4 240s from Costco. So I'm basically buying 960 tea bags at a time. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, any port on a storm. Tea's tea. Oh, hang on. Oh, no, I was going to say, what was that sent through? But I just hadn't closed that. Right. Cool. So I think bite a cake. And let's see what this Rutan Quickie, whereabouts I got up to, because I actually can't remember. I know I was doing stuff with it. So there we go, this massive box. And in there, got my little bit of photo etch that I was working on. There it is. There it is in all its glory. All 6.5 centimetres of resin kit. Got the little, that was it. Got my little fret of more resin bits to add on. And I've got PG Tips here at home. Bit expensive as it's imported. Oh, okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, just whenever I go on holiday, I always fill the suitcase up with PG Tips and take with me. And I've even taken milk, so at least I can have my first cup of tea when I get there with proper milk as well. Tonight I thought I'd come into a really steady cook. It's yes, homemade cakes. So I'm gonna just try this. I apparently got some golden syrup in there as well, so I'll probably end up getting a bit sticky fingers. Probably not what I should be doing before I start trying to do this thing. That's all. Oh god, that's all right. That's very, very light and fluffy. And hello, Tosh, how are you? Sorry, I'm just munching cake. I was reading and I thought, I'm chomping on this. Right. Oh, there goes chocolate coin on top. Oh God. That's a good, you can do them again. So last time round, I was pinging around some photo etch. So instead of trying to lose photo etch again, let's try, you should have some hand wipes at all times so you don't get cake oil on your quickie. Don't worry, no, that's what the jeans are for. I just, yeah, that's what jeans were invented for. Just get a bit of a rub like that, fine. And to be honest, I've got oils all over my fingers from doing the oils on these. So yeah, I don't think I have to worry too much about that, as long as I don't get any fingerprints on them. I'm now paranoid about that. Okay, PG tips. Hi Tosh, that's Rob's 2 cents, right? Even anyway, right. So what I now need to do is those bits I think I painted last time round. So hopefully these should be drier now. I have got some little wheels that I can put in. So oh, that was it. I put on some little stupidly small little photo etch. You can probably just see the little notches hanging down. There's decals that go on them to say no step. So I'm assuming they're actually just sort of separate trim tabs. So obviously this thing's so small, instead of actually having, whereas something like this has got, the trim tabs actually built into the ailerons, this one's actually got separate little trim tabs. I assume, I don't know. I could buy a kit of this and actually make it myself. And yes, I'd forgotten. We've also got a little clear part. Oh, I've also got that I mustn't lose, because I almost lost that as well last time round. So we've got the for the dashboard. There's a little little sort of thing for the dials. So that's going to be interesting trying to do that. Now, of course, if you burn bakewells, what do you call them? If you burn, hang on. Right, okay, hang on. Just you should have some homeworks, because I've done exactly that after eating some bakewells. Right. Thing is, you've got to remember, 4 nights a week I get snacks delivered at 8 o'clock. So I have mastered the art of of not getting of goody stuff on my fingers. Bake pads. Okay, that is a no. Cube Jam walked into that one. They're no longer baked well, are they? No, they're baked bad. You called them burnt well tarts. No, no. Oh, God, heaven's sake. You're getting the bad puns in tonight. Okay, so let's build a little thing. What did I want to do? I wanted to put a little bit of something on this as well. Where's that silver? That worked quite nicely on there. Got the basically the instrument panel here, and you're on the instrument panel, like I'm showing up like you're going to see it. You've actually got the back. You can see the back of the instrument panel. So all the gauges you can actually see the back of. So just dry brushing with a little bit of silver on there. So hopefully those will stand out a bit. Then I've got to try and cut that. Oh God, that's going to be fun. What? How the hell does that go? Okay, that's going to go on there. Then I've got that little acetate bit, and then I've got the hole for the. Oh, this is just being silly. This kit. This is exactly why I ordered another 70-second scale kit, just in case this kit. Oh, this is actually 70-second scale. It's the actual prototype, the plane itself that it's based on, is about 5 meters long. So in 70-second scale, it comes in at about 6.5 centimeters. It's literally a kit. It's a kit of a kit is the best way to explain that one. You can actually buy it, or you could. Well, he sold about 1,000 of the things, but it's designed by the guy who basically designed the principle for the Virgin Galactic thing with the Spaceship 1 and Spaceship 2. The guy who come up with that idea is a bit of a out-the-box thinker on aerospace, and he come up with this, the Rutan Quickie. I wanted to do something a little bit interesting for my entry into the 70-second scale buddy build. Kent Models have put up a new one for. Hang on, what have they done? They're not. Hang on, we go Bakewell tarts. They're not part. They're not tarts. They're puddings. I live 10 miles from the town where they were invented. Oh, okay. Trust me. Over Christmas, when I was eating mince pies, Killer, you should have been on the stream then, because the amount every evening was explaining that a mince pie is actually a sweet tart. And not a pie, and that biscuits don't go with gravy. We've had that one a lot recently as well. But this is 70-second scale skinniest. Thinking about purchasing a paint booth. My box with a fan is great, but I need something I can fold away. Yes, my one is basically it's probably it's that big by that big. Actually, if you go onto my YouTube, I actually did a review of it about 4 or 5 years ago when I first started doing stuff on YouTube, and then forgot about YouTube for about 4 years. And part of me thinks if I'd probably stuck to doing some stuff on YouTube, I'd probably be one of those YouTube millionaires now. But I just sort of done a few things and forgot, and I actually did a little review of it, so it might be the same one. And oh, that was quick. You've already taken that out. We made it. If he made it a kit, he's more of a in-the-box thinker than. Hang on. Bot alert. Right. Okay. Yes. Hang on. Never rush a quick. Rob's top tip: never rush a quickie. No. Millionaire's cheesecake. Oh, yeah. That is sweet stuff. Right. Let's chop this out. Problem I often find, I don't know if anyone else has done a model and used. I've had it a few times with Edward sort of photo etch sets. You get these little acetate things, and I've got to admit, I've never really found them worth the hassle. I don't know if anyone else has. You prefer fruity cheesecake? You said that he was an out-of-the-box thinker, Rob. So hence my comment. Hang on, who's out of the box? Hence out. He wasn't. I'm confused. Are you what? Are we still talking about the cherry burnt whales? But no, I've never had much success with these things. They're just always too small. So I can't really see what detail it is adding. Your whizzer's back. You back with a Mackie D's in hand. Come on. I don't think, when I've used these before, or I say used these before, I don't think I've ever used them. I've attempted. No, you're trying to be good. Well, it's good that you're trying to be good. In fact, if you're trying to be good, that you deserve a reward for at least trying to be good. So you get out there and no, I'm joking. Yeah, treat yourself by not having McDonald's, by going out and getting a McDonald's. See, I just can't see how that is going to add anything to it, because the dials on here, although we have actually got some little dials on there, as you can probably tell, they're so small that once they actually go behind the instrument panel on there, hang on, no, where's up and down? That down, down, down. The instrument panel is, hang on, that black blob there. Once they go behind that, they're never going to be seen. I mean, I could give it a go. Maybe I'll be surprised. Well, I doubt it. Let's try and line that up. I mean, if I can't see through it when I'm holding it right in front of me under good light, I'm not going to bother putting Ashy in the cockpit. I'm just making work for myself. No, that's not really going to add anything apart from grief and disappointment. We've already got quite a lot of grief and disappointment going on, so why bother adding more? Okay, so in that case, no, because that's not big enough. That's got, this resin part's so small. Okay, no Discord. Hang on. Never gonna. You're. Oh, actually, I do actually have a Discord. I think Kauster's put in one, which Plastic Alchemist, who also streams. He's got a Discord for modelers, and also that is my own sort of Discord as well. So, oh, hang on, you've already done the Rob's models. Oh, okay, you've done Kauster done that. I thought you had put in. I thought that was the link to. What's it? I dropped yours as well. Yeah, okay. Cheers. Well, thank you very much, Kauster. And you've done both. Hang on. There's also, right, yes. I didn't realise that you'd actually done, no, hang on. Oh, never mind. Right, they're on there. Yes. So just the thought of photo etch makes my brain start melting. That's the problem. I was just wondering whether I actually do need to have this acetate part in there, which normally I wouldn't bother with. However, the part that it attaches to is too small by itself. And it looks like the acetate is more just needed as almost more of a mounting plate. So just using the old bathroom tile. I mean, seriously, I thought, oh, when I got this kit, when I saw it and I ordered it, I thought this would be a fun little silly kit I could knock out really quick, get on with something, and it would just be a silly little one. Because where I've been doing larger kits and larger scales recently, I thought the irony, you know, of me then doing a little kit, it'd be a nice little fun thing. Tweezers, should have got them first. Let's put that on first because that's what that was for. So I would show you, but there's no point because this is a bit too small. But when putting photo etch cockpits on, use The glue, use PVA glue because it's a bit more forgiving, gives you a bit more chance to get things lined up than super glue as you traditionally normally use. Also, if you cover that, like that's the bit with the instrument panel on, that I'm gluing this onto, if that's got the PVA glue on, when you put your instrument panel on with the holes in the photo etch, the glue oozes out of the holes. You might just see that. I mean, it is stupidly small though. There's little blobs of white glue on a black thing. But what will then happen, which actually I did in the 109 as well, is when that dries, that will dry clear but give the impression of glass, round glass instrument panels. That's the plan, at least. So now, you've got to be careful not to drop it. We now have a very small instrument panel. Literally, there's only like, a couple of dials on there. And that's actually backed on with the acetate strip. So maybe when that dries, the theory is you'll be able to see the dials through there, and that then itself is backed onto the resin plate, which has got the back of the dials on there where they're mounted. Thanks for the top tip. That's your top tip. Yes. Now feeling you out. I dropped yours as well. I wouldn't drop a link for SafePort without putting yours in first in your channel. Oh yeah, okay. I think I was reading back to upwards. Now you're feeling my pain, right? I'm feeling lots of pain at the moment doing this. I'm not a fan of resin, not a fan of photo etch. So why I thought I still cannot work out my own logic there. Let's drop some wheels in. I've got to do. Okay, this has even got rudder pedals. That's going to be silly. Where does dark grey? Right, I've got to make some bits. Oh no. Yeah, no expense was spared on these instructions. I've got to fold up some bits and attach some bits. That bit just under where the instrument panel is. Doesn't actually say where they go. They fold up and get stuck together. I'm assuming they back onto there because that's why there's a bit of that missing. Perhaps a sort of a mounting bracket. Really shouldn't have picked it up until that was properly dried. Okay, let's come back to that when that's dry. Let's make some wheels. These are resin. I've pre-painted them, but they will probably might need a bit of touching up afterwards. And try not to lose these ones. And these will actually be embedded into the end of the wings, the wingtips. So, again, don't know if that's possible. They're the small, possible to see, small little wheels. Now, and these wheels, trust me, are bigger than the one that I lost the other day. Just to give you an idea. Tweezers, a little drop of super glue in each of the ends of the wing. I'm hoping as I drop each of the wheels in, there'll be just enough super glue in there just to them to rub against and keep in there. There we go. Oh, I might just stop on this kit now and quit whilst I'm ahead. You got. I have. Could you hear that? Your what? You got photo etch in your Hurricane. I'm assuming you're on the Hurricane. Hope you can see there, embedded in the end of the wings. We've now got 2 wheels. 2 little black wheels, and I don't need to repaint them because they're embedded. I made sure that I pushed the ends that I just cut off the sprue. I made sure I pushed those in. So yeah, suddenly starting to get a little bit of colour on there. I say colour, got a bit of black on there. I'm groaning at every new piece. Right. So what? How much detail was there? Because obviously you've got. I can't remember the make of the kit. I'm assuming there's more detail to that kit than there was with the there would be with an Airfix. And for some reason they keep asking me to remove moulded hatches and nubs. That's the annoying thing, isn't it? When you buy it and then you've got to sort of rub off all the detail and stuff. It's not a huge. Yeah, this probably more than I've got here. I've got a Spitfire to do. Same as the Tamiya. Tamiya basically come at the same time as the 109. They also built out the Spitfire, and that hasn't got the mask set or the magnets to remove the cowlings. I don't think. I've not done enough. I've not opened it actually, but that does have a little mini bit of photo etch in there as well. But all the control panel is photo etch and seat belts and knobs. Yeah, photo etch does actually went for some of those bits. It is worth it actually. I do think. And like this one, because it didn't come with, or it wanted decals for the harnesses, I actually scratch built it, but normally I'd just use photo etch because they do sit a lot better. And I've got a lot of photo etch for the Lanc. When I do that, that's why I want to have a bit of a break before do a few easier kits, smaller kits before I do the Lancaster, because I have gone. I've not bought every photo etch kit for it. Basically, the only one I've got is not the wheel wells, because you don't see the wheel wells. I did a pre-paint on the for your cards as you did the other day. How's that work? Because mine's scratching off quite a lot, but it has still. It's more going to mean needing touching up than an actual repaint. Talking of that, I need to get this. Actually, I could. Yeah, because when I put in my I had to put the cushion on. I don't know how visible that's going to be, but I got quite a lot of scratching on there. However, which I'm just about to do now, it's going to be a lot easier to touch in where the paint had scratched off to make it shiny. I don't know how well. I'd never thought about that. When I got that kit, I never actually thought about the logistics of how people are actually going to see what I'm doing. But it's going to be a lot easier now to fill in the little bits with a very fine brush. It'll be a lot easier to do that than it would be just to sort of try and paint it in situ completely. And then we can hopefully try and get that in. Although saying that, I am pretty much painting it in situ because it is actually easier than I thought it was going to be. And actually, because some of it had scratched off and some of it hadn't, and some of it had scratched down to the white primer and some of it hadn't, I'm getting my favourite thing my favourite thing at the moment is tonal variation. So this little cushion in there has got a bit more it's not just a solid lump of blue. I also did put a pin wash over it as well, just to go into the creases. So that's looking nice. No point holding up to the camera because no one ever see it. So far trying to be gentle. Wow, you start trying to be gentle and then you just end up going, oh cock. I did destroy a part of PE. It's inevitable. You will. There's something, especially if you're not used to doing photo etch, you will. That's why I'd use the tile, just to try to minimise the risk of things getting bent. Because once something bends, you kind of get, what's the phrase? You get one free bend. If you bend something wrong, you can bend it back. But you try to bend it back again, that's it. You can literally have your one way to fix it. I did destroy a part up here. I don't think will affect the overall look of the kit, as it's, most of the photo etch stuff is hidden in cockpits anyway. So you can, as long as you don't ball stuff up completely, and most kits don't have, you know, photo etch, you can kind of get away with not using all of it. And often more experienced modelers, you know, when you first buy photo etch, you feel like you've got to use everything. After a while, you do get used to thinking, no one's going to see those sodding rudder pedals. I'm not going to spend another evening trying to get those rudder pedals just right, only to put a seat in and for it to never be seen. And trust me, that happens. See, this is what happens when you just let me chat alone. I monopolise the conversation. I'm going to have to go and bend things in a curve with my photo etch. Do you know the mouse mat technique? I can't even talk now. I'm having. If you want to bend the stuff in a curve, use your leg or a mouse mat to bend stuff, especially if it's only a gentle curve. You can spend a bloody fortune on sets for it, but what you can do. Oh, time for another. Yes, top tip time. So you want to bend some photo etch? Thank you, Cav. I forgot about that. What you do is you use a mouse mat or your leg, and if I've got, actually, I could cut some of this off, which I don't need anymore. So if I, and this is why actually you want to use you'd actually use a scalpel on a tile or a piece of glass, because just doing that has actually put a massive bend in that bit of photo etch. But that's just a bit of the fret, a bit of the sprue. I'll try and flatten it back out again. And say we needed to put a bit of a curve in there. If you just try to bend it, you're gonna if you try to bend, you're more likely going to be putting a fold in it. So what I tried to do, actually my camera has moved, that's why I keep missing stuff. If you use like a mouse mat and put on there, and then get something like a pen or a paintbrush, oh, that's one of those notchy ones, or okay, actually this would probably work. So it's one of these scalpel sort of ones, but it's got quite a round handle. Because there's a bit of give in there, if you basically rolling pin it over, you'll get a subtle curve. But of course, the more you do it and the harder you press down, instead of trying to go for one curve straight away, you kind of do it, you know, you push it a bit harder. And now, see, I've now got a lot more of a curve. That's almost like a half circle going on there. If I repeat that process, and this time do it on my leg, which is of course going to be a bit even softer than the mouse mat, and then push it in. Now we've got it going even a tighter circle, as hopefully you can see that there. So that's now bent round over halfway. And I'm sure if we'll put the, before I go and drop that and stab that through my foot, pop that back. If I get a thinner steel, use paintbrush, which is thinner than that, do that again on my leg, which is softer, and again rolling pin it. I've actually now got that, so that's now gone completely full circle. So now hopefully you can see I've managed to get that to wrap right round on itself, If I just hold in some tweezers with the black background on there. So now hopefully you can see that little bit, I got it to go round in a circle. So if you had actually tried to bend that round in a circle by hand or trying to wrap it round something, that would have been an absolute nightmare. Using PVA will stop your camera from moving. Yes. I think it's because I probably was trying to turn the light and stuff on it the other day. I'd forgot I'd knocked it around. Time for another video. Cue the video. Yeah, I've had fun with very thin brass parts needing bent into shape with Loco kit. Oh, Tosh, if you're doing Loco stuff, then of course you're probably familiar. Now, you can spend a small fortune on things which have kind of got the brass rods of different thicknesses, different diameters, and little tubes that you can put things into. But that just is easier. I just, find that, and you just work. You don't try to do it one bend straight away. Work your way down to slowly getting a slow bend in there, and working on something like a mouse mat, and then going on to your very soft leg. Having fun with a barrel part needed to. We'll stop. You heard it here first. Rob has soft legs. Yes. Now. Great, now I have the song Round Round stuck in my head. Round Round, baby, round round. No, not that one, probably. I tried to do it by hand, building that CDPE stuff, that CDPE robot. Oh, yeah, I know the one. You never want to work with PE again. No, that stuff, you really did go in at the deep end with that. Sometimes doing stuff, smaller stuff, adding onto a kit. When I do the, I've still got it, actually. I haven't put it in the box yet. I have got some serious photo etchage. Photo etchage is a word. So, yeah, I've got a load of that, and that's actually, this is just one of the PE things, that photo etch that I'm going to be doing. So, in this one, so I've got that, which obviously you can see, but there's another fret of that in there. Oh yeah, so we got that. So that's going to be a whole lot of photo etch to do. I think there might even be another bit more photo etch in. No, that's just got the two bits of that. Then we've got that bit in there, and the thing. Oh, and that's some on the other side, and I think there's also more in the middle. So yeah, when I do this one, there we go. Oh, and another load of it in the middle. So we got all that photo etch goodness to be doing. And then we've got another thing. And then some photo etch straps as well. I'm sure there was something else as well that I had kicking around. And that's all going to be for the Lancaster. Oh, and the masking sets as well. It comes with stuff, but I thought for an extra, if I'm buying that for a £5, I might as well just do that. So that's going to be stupid when I do that one. That's why that is going to be like a super duper mega build sort of thing. As well, and that's also the one that I'm thinking of going to be putting seeing about if I should be putting lights and motors and stuff in it. Photo etchage, yes. Photo etchage. Any photo etch stream should have a swearing disclaimer at the beginning. I do need to turn this on to adult as well, and that way I can say chuffing heck when I'm doing stuff. Because to be honest, this is the cleanest I talk when I'm on here. I talk on here like I'm talking to my parents. As soon as the camera goes off, I'm effing and blinding. Watching that night shift video on the Meng BMR with, oh yes, I was going to suggest as well, because Cavster suggested yesterday that we do a build where one person puts a bit on and then sends it on to someone else and they do a bit. And I said about a Dragon tank with the full interior, but actually I think that one, the 1300 parts, the tank that I've got on order says it's winter, and I don't know whether it means that it's actually due any time this week or whether I've actually got to wait until next winter, which is a bit annoying, because I was looking forward to doing that one. After doing the Tiger, I've ordered a new tank in 1:35 scale, I did a full brass loco once. Oh, you did a full mental. I've seen the kits for it, and to be honest, I'd like to do one. But my soldering's not up to scratch. I did a full loco once for a mate of mine, and the rolling the boiler to shape took longer than the rest of the kit did. Yeah, because it's just slow. You can't just try to bend that round and bend it round a rolling pin and call it done. I know someone who does them in O gauge, the brass kits. That was basically his lot. His O gauge kits have been in quite a few magazines, or his O gauge layouts. And yeah, he's stuff that he does with the brass stuff is just, it's just stupid. I mean, seriously, it's if you subscribe to if you read Wet Railway magazines, you probably would have seen his kit somewhere along, or his stuff. Have you got any 1:48 planes for scale compared to the ones we build for the group build? I've not got any which I could say that is a. I've not done the same kit in different scales, actually, if that's what you mean. To sort of say this is. I mean, actually, the closest thing would probably be to say, because they were kind of similar size. I think the 109 was a bit bigger. Don't know, actually. But that is a 109 in 48, and that is a 190 in 72. So, they're both Second World War German fighters, and both single engine, so would be comparable size. I actually think in real life the 190 was bigger than the 109, but I might just be imagining that. But so there's not a huge amount of difference, but there is also quite a bit of difference. So hopefully that gives a bit of an idea. You'll find that these kits are bigger, so there's more detail to them, but at the same time, something that would be just one part in this kit would be made up of 3 parts in that kit. So you're getting more detail, but there's more parts to make up that detail, and some of those parts, ironically, are smaller than what one bit would be for that, if that makes sense. So that would just have, for example, the chair in this would be a single moulded piece, whereas the chair in this one, and I honestly can't remember, but it would be made from the back. The back part goes on, and then you've got the bucket for the seats. So that was actually 2 parts. But you can imagine, bits would be made up. More parts go into it. So, but you get better detail for it at the end of it. So don't just think if you've got big sausage fingers that doing a bigger kit is necessarily going to, a bigger scale kit would be bigger, because you might just find that you've got more bits in there that are smaller. There is some plain kits for sale, and there is some best thing to do. I mean, there is variety and stuff, and so some of the older, cheaper 1:48 scale kits are pretty much the same amount of detail as what on a or should I say, a 1:72 scale modern kit has pretty much got the same amount of detail as an older 1:48 scale kit, in a way. So you might want to grab one and give it a go. No excuse. Hang on, that's really nice, but it's not screaming out for me. Right, hang on, which? Okay, oh, you're talking about the kit. It's just one sitting on my shelf that needs to be built. Right. Okay, anyway, hopefully that's now dry, so we can start putting some bits in. Before I do that, I need to put the rudder pedals in. Again, just talking about photo etch rudder pedals, like anyone is ever going to see these. I think they're going to have to go back quite a way. No, still doesn't make sense. Rudder pedal is that bit. I should probably put on my me goggles. What I probably should have done is done the bathroom in a different colour, so I had a different colour tile. That make it easier to see on the camera. But for this in particular, I do think painting that on the sprue was definitely the best way forward for that. I don't think I could have done that any other way. Rudder pedals are going to go right at the back, I'd imagine. No, when that drops in, how far? No, it doesn't go right the way back. That would have an engine mounting in this way instead. Okay. Councillor no, really like a method of adding texture to armour, mixing Tamiya putty with water and dabbing it onto the brush. Oh, okay, that's one way to do it. I was just reading a review for that, and this I'm not even going to Sturmorser, and this is what it says: the only sticking point is likely to be the difficulty of rolling the PE parts for the fields and trains adequately clean and getting it to the pipe. Okay, so doing round photo etch. But you should be able to do that, Councillor. I mean, you're the one that is in the process. I'm still using present tense on this. You are the one in the process of scratch building a 1 to 72nd hurricane. So something like a little bit of photo etch should not be scaring you off. Oh, you cock. No, 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 no. Right, just bending up my photo etch. Literally folded it in half. How am I going to do this? With plenty of glue. More glue, that's always the way. Stuff tends to... rolling, folding, P, yes. I'm determined to finish it and appreciate your continued support in cheering on my scratchbook. Basically, as long as you're on Twitch, you are going to be reminded. You know, you're going years to come. You'll be on there, and I'll be going, oh, you finished. You know, it'll be your eulogy. Eulogy. Mother chuffer, come on. Oh, you absolute cock. I'm definitely using the P for plenty technique here for glue because this is so fiddly to get in that just now when I did it, the glue had already dried. What am I doing? I'm doing buggering rudder pedals that no one's going to see. Oh, you son of a... Right, how's everyone doing? Hello Mirage, how are you? Haven't seen you for a while. I am doing well. I mean, I say I'm doing well. I'm lying through my teeth there. I'm trying to put some photo etch rudder pedals in a plane which is only actually 6.5 centimeters long, and it's not working too well. But apart from that, I'm doing well. and yourself. How are you? That's the more important thing. Are we in? Are we in? Are we in? We weren't until I moved it. Why would that not? Just, okay, stay. That's close enough for me at the moment, is it? It's close enough for me. Why do I continue to nudge it? Right, okay, so where are we? Hope to still you have time. Finish it before the end of the body build. Yeah, you've still got sort of 2 months to do it. And once you've actually made one hurricane, you've then know how it, that you've then got reference to at least cross-reference. No doubt the instructions will show you panel, you can put in the main panel lines, that sort of thing. Both my buddy build banes are gone. Bailey. Oh, hang on. What? Including the you Tosh, you are doing that one, aren't you? The 190. What's wrong with the 190? At least you haven't given up and pulled out the build. I can cast that the hunter needs paint stripping off and redoing. You are doing the 190, aren't you? Or or is that someone else? Redoing. Right, yeah, you're okay. Well, anyway, well, sorry to hear that. It's not going to plan. The joys of modelling. Are you Actually, I was going to ask if you're obviously having problems with it. Is this a skill, as in the 70-second kits? Is that a skill that you're used to doing, Tosh, or is it are you kind of going out your comfort zone? Because for some people, obviously, this is the point of these buddy builds that different modelers on Twitch are doing, because it's for some, they're doing things which are what they regularly do. There was Warduck, who actually isn't taking part in the body build, I don't think. I mean, he might be, but he actually, technically he is all the time, because 70-second scale planes is his, that's his skill. That's where it was in his forte. Whereas like Cube Jam and the Wiz never made 70-second scale planes before, but once it gets onto the cars, I'm going to be, a 1 to 24 scale, or a 1 to whatever scale we're doing for cars now. I'm going to be well out of my comfort zone on that one. Whereas someone like Cube Jam and the Wiz will just sort of be, knocking them out over, like they'll be running them off the line like sausages. Yeah, I had the Fokker one snap 2 guns off, and the problem. Oh, I did actually. I kept on snapping off I think it was that the what's it tube, which actually looks a little bit wonky now. And the 2 cannons on the outside, the outer ones, I think those, if you actually look, kind of bow in slightly, because they didn't want to quite fit, and I think I did kind of have to do a little bit of subtle bending. However, no, one of these, if I recall, one of the cannons, or the little pilot tube, pitot tube, one of those, I think it was on this kit, isn't the original part. Because I think I snapped mine, I stretched some sprue and then just cut some sprue to size and sort of drilled a little hole and put it in there. No, mate, you built okay, yeah. So you're I remember I've had a few issues with the Lancaster window. I remember I had a few. Okay, oh, hang on, who's doing the Lancaster one? Is that that's going to be impossible. Right, let's see what. I've literally got some photo etch. These 2 bits of photo etch need bending, and then they actually need attaching to each other. They are. One of them is about 2 millimeters by 1 millimeter, and that is rounding up, and the other one's smaller than that's the larger of the two. So I really don't know how, what, why, what that's for. Generally, that is part of a photo etch that I don't think I'm going to even bother with. I hate to disappoint there. That's... I think we can now. Whoa! Drop the whole model on the floor. I just caught it. I could do with something just to highlight those pedals. Before I put that in, what could I use to highlight black? They're silver pedals, but because it's white in there, there's no sort of contrast. Right, now I've just scuffed that up. Drop in the seat. We should start getting a bit of colour in this now. So, blob of that. I'm being brave, I'm just going to blob this in. Oh, I said this stuff the other day, this super glue that I use, was £1.38 from Toolstation. I actually checked and it's actually about less than that, about £1.18. So I bought that a couple of years back actually, and that's lasted me okay. So that's another, I won't say top tip, but a tip is if you're in the UK, just buy your super glue from Toolstation. It's really cheap. Seat has now been installed, the little couch. So with a, I've gone for a blue cushion on there. So yeah, should be a. There are armrests and things in there, but that's just probably not really going to be visible. And I've also just managed to scratch off some of that blue paint I put on just now, but that's fine. And now instrument panel. So now starting to make a bit of, you know, speed with this. Pretty much got the cockpit installed. If you want to do a small resin kit, then shop around and don't just do this one. That's my top advice. Oh, you. Does anyone else get their parts lined up perfectly and then decide to nudge it a little bit more? Oh no, 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 no. That instrument panel that I was sticking together earlier, turns out the glue when I laminated that wasn't dry. He just looked it. Right. Pork Belly had the Lancaster issues. Right. Okay. No. But okay. Guns are still long enough, so drilled a hole and put them back on. Okay. Cool. The prop will be done later. Right. Oh, so you've not binned it completely. I'm on nights from tomorrow, so I'll probably get both painted at work. Oh, cool. What you've got a job where you can is it one that you've got to be there in body but not in mind, so therefore you can catch up with a bit of modelling. Actually, I don't know why Cube Jam doesn't do that when he's on working night shifts. Right, I'm going to try this one last time, and if this doesn't work now, then I'm going to leave it until the glue's dry properly, and then give it a go. I mean, why I'm actually even trying it now is beyond me, to be honest, but you live and learn. The public gets what the public wants, and at the moment they want to see a quickie getting built. Oh no. Oh no, I've got super glue on my fingers now. And now, obviously, my fingers are now are the thing that it actually wants to stick to. I might have to wrap this one up soon. Just because it's got to that stage. No, that bit of photo etch sticking on this bit of resin has got out of line. Now the paint's starting to come off. I reckon that I'm going to have to do is just give this one a bit of extra time to dry off before I start trying to whack it in, because that's just going to cause issues. And issues cause me headaches, which is hilarious for you guys viewing, but it doesn't do much for my blood pressure. Right, okay, cool. Yeah, security, and we are the duty first. Duty first aid or a night shift, so can't leave gatehouse. So suits me. So yeah, so you've got to be there for in case you're not. Basically you've got to be there not needed for in case you are needed. Which the chance of that happening is pretty slim. But you've got to be there just in case type thing. It's cool. Yeah, if you can do that. Yeah, if you're fine to do some modelling and stuff whilst you're there, then. Lucky you, to be honest. In that case, hopefully have another crack at the 190, because I found it a really nice kit. But I don't know if you noticed, there was that right by the tail wheel, there was the sprue gate was almost like on the inside, so if it wasn't, it sort of didn't poke out, it sort of went across. And I'm sure loads of people just thought, didn't bother. I mean, and just tried to, stuck it together. But of course, that opened that out, and if then the wing roots don't sit in properly, which then means, And I've seen about 3 or 4 people on Facebook slag that 190 off, saying about the fit's terrible, and it all boils down to not filing the sprue gate down there, but it's the domino effect. That makes that wide. It means that the fuselage doesn't sit together properly there. It means that the wings don't fit on, and then you've got more of a gap, and it all just starts, you're trying to squeeze stuff in. You get that little bit done, it actually literally, falls together nice. Okay, I'm going to wrap that up actually, because if I keep trying to force that little bit in, and we are talking, that little bit there, which is the resin part on the back. Then we've got the laminated acetate dials with the photo etch fronts. So all of that in a little bit, which is just a couple of millimeters big. And obviously the glue that I put it all together with isn't quite dry. So trying to sandwich it into that little hole is just not wanting to work really. So what I'll do is wait for that to dry off properly, and then if necessary even file it around the edges, but it's just not wanting to play ball on it, so I'm not going to force that actually. Then I'm going to have to start trying to work out, well then I can actually, once that's in, I've got a few more dials to go in the cockpit. No, not dials, controls. Got the one on the left, one on the right, and then pretty much, get the prop on, tail wheel, and then the I've lost it. No, there it is. Then I've got the vac form. Never done a vac form canopy. So if anyone's, I don't know if anyone's ever done a vac form canopy at all, but if you have, if you've got any tips or advice, please let me know, because I've not, and I have heard that they're an absolute pain in the arse, and I've only got one, and I've been told that most times when you get a vac form canopy you actually get 2, because the first one statistically you'll muck up, because they're tough to get right. I don't know why they're tough to get right, but if anyone's got any advice on that, let me know. So yeah, let's wrap that up for now, I think. So what did we do? We had a good go with the weathering with the oils earlier on, which was good. Just playing, literally it was more playing around than an actual proper sort of session with it. However, I think it has actually added a little bit more onto here. I'd already done some in the afternoon, so I'd already put a little bit on the top wings just to add a little bit of streaking on there, and just sort of bring a bit on, add a little bit of smoking just onto the fuselage sides as well. And then whilst I had it out there, done the same actually on the little 190 that I built last year. So a bit of smoke going down the sides. Not so much obvious that it's there, it's just when you sort of more compare it to the fuselage bit that doesn't, so it's obviously a bit darker on there. And then of course we stuck a few different colours on stuff, and that actually, for a kit that I'd done last year, that's livened it up a little bit and just added a bit more streaking from where the cartridges would be out, where a bit of mud's got kicked up and streaked and wiped off, and those sort of things on the bottom. So again, it's just actually pleased with how that's going. And from my first play properly with oils, and not just using the burnt umber colour, but actually getting some colours in, working them in, I'm actually quite pleased with how that's going. Oh, and I've also, still waiting for it to dry, but I've put a few little blobs of the PVA glue on the aerial wire as well, just to look where those give it the impression of having those ties around there as well. But that's taking a long time to go, and I'll pop a little bit of black on there when that's done. So I reckon that should be done. Yeah, that was a big lump. Oh right, okay. Cool, so I'm going to wrap up there, I think. Might as well, because yeah, I'm going to, there's that literally that little cockpit, and I can't really do much more with that until that goes in, because the other bits that to go in around there are going to be even smaller than that bit. So I think just give it a time for that to dry first. Who is on actually? Have we got anyone on? Plastic Alchemist is on at the moment. we might as well just pop in and go. You're probably yeah, let's go and see Plastic Alchemist. So thanks very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed that. That was, as I say, tonight's one. It wasn't a full-on serious sort of one, because I just wanted to have a bit of a play with the oils. Try those out on a few different bits, have a bit of a chat, and then also do a little bit more on the ironically called quickie that has taken me bloody ages to do, and it's only a small little thing anyway. So we are slowly getting there. I'll even do a little bit of tidying up, and then we shall pop over. I might as well see Plastic Alchemist, see how he's getting on. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Appreciate that. Have a good evening, a good day, a good whatever, wherever you are. Have a good one. Catch up with you soon. Catch you later. Cheers. Really enjoyed having you in the background while sorting out the tornado. Cheers. Thanks. Oh yeah, as I say, I was often when I'm sometimes during the day, I kind of have to just quietly lurk on things, and I'm there in the background. You don't even know I'm there. So hopefully I'll try and get a bit more involved in things, but you're not going to get that one knocked out too quick, are you? So thanks very much for watching. I will be back on Thursday the 26th, is it? Something like that, maybe? No, today's 26th. So Thursday 28th, 6:30 GMT, give or take a little bit either way. Make sure you join me Discords and all those sort of things if you haven't already. I think you most of them have. And we'll catch up with you soon. So let's head on over, see old Plastic Alchemist, see what he's up to. Have a good one. Happy modelling. Have a good time. Take care. Don't kill each other. Have fun and buy oils and use oils on your models. Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.